You are the cause of the confusion. You made her question everything. Two paths now lie before her. One is safe, predictable. The other is you, full of uncertainties. You make her doubt what once seemed certain. She thinks, rethinks, weighs each decision. Your presence is overwhelming. You are the center of the dilemma. She knows that no matter what she chooses, you have already left your mark. You know this. You feel the weight you have placed on her shoulders, even unintentionally. Each word of yours, each gesture, carries something she cannot ignore. You took up a space she perhaps did not even know existed. It wasn't just what you did, it was what you represented. She looks ahead and sees the comfort that the safe path offers. It is not bad. It never was. It is stable, predictable, perhaps even sufficient. But then you appear in the other direction. You with everything you bring, the uncertain, the new, what cannot be explained, only felt. She tries to imagine what it would be like to choose this path, knowing it requires courage, knowing it may have no return, and as she reflects, you wait. Do you feel the same? Do you understand the impact you caused? It's this uncertainty that keeps her awake night after night, in a silence that screams. You have become a point she cannot erase from the map. Time runs, but she is paralyzed. The questions consume her. What if it goes wrong? What if I regret it? But at the same time, there is another question, one she hardly dares to face. What if I don't try? What if I never know? You see her, you notice the signs. She tries to disguise it, but it's there. In her eyes, in the silences, in the gestures that speak more than words. It's an internal struggle, a conflict you might never fully understand. But you are there, present, constant, even when she tries to get you out of her head. And yet you continue. No force, no demands. But your mere existence is a challenge to everything she believed to be true. You are the doubt, and at the same time, the answer she is afraid to face. Now, the dilemma grows. She tries to balance the weight of choices, but realizes it's impossible. There's no way out without losses. Choosing you means giving up something, perhaps something important. But not choosing you is also a loss, and maybe that one is even greater. So what is your position in all of this? Do you know what you represent to her? Do you feel the same? Or is it just the strength of your presence that makes her question so much? She needs to know, she needs something to help her decide, but maybe you can't give that. Maybe this choice is hers alone, and that's what makes it all so difficult. Are you prepared for what comes next? Because no matter the choice, nothing will be the same as before. If she decides on the safe path, you will be the memory of something that never happened but always could have been. And if she chooses you, she'll be stepping into unknown territory, with all the consequences that come with it. So the question is, what will you do? Will you wait while she decides? Or will you take the initiative? Be the force that pushes her towards the path you desire? Because deep down you also know there are no guarantees, not for her, not for you, just what exists now, and that's already more than enough to change everything. You are there, silent, perhaps even pretending not to notice the impact you have caused. But you know, don't you? Every move you make is registered in her mind. You are the reason she can't move forward with the same conviction as before. It's as if your presence has messed up a puzzle she believed was complete. Time doesn't stop, but for her it feels like everything is suspended. Every moment she crosses paths with you, it's as if the world slows down. Have you ever felt that? Have you noticed the way she looks at you, as if she's trying to uncover something hidden within you? It's as if she's searching for answers in a riddle you didn't even know you'd become. And there's the problem. You're not neutral. Your mere presence makes her doubt what once seemed unquestionable. It's not fair, but life rarely is. She's afraid of choosing you and losing what she has, but she's also afraid of not choosing you and spending her life wondering what could have been. You don't pressure her, but you're there like a shadow she can't dispel. The doubt you represent is not an easy choice. It's not something she can simply erase from her mind. It's real, it's intense, and it's you. Now she's approaching the limit. There's no more avoiding it. This decision is coming, and when it does, nothing will be the same. Are you ready for that? Because even if you don't say it out loud, you know you want something. You want her to choose you. And that's what makes everything even more complicated. You're the type of person who doesn't go unnoticed. There's something about you that captivates, that attracts, that challenges. Maybe it's the way you look, or the way you speak, or simply the way you are present. But whatever it is, it's strong enough to make someone reevaluate their own life. She feels that. She knows that. But the fear of making a mistake paralyzes her. The question that won't leave her mind is, what if he doesn't feel the same? What if I risk everything and lose? Have you thought about that? Have you imagined what she's risking just by considering what you represent? And yet she is here, divided, battling with herself because you are worth the risk. At least that's what she tries to figure out. You are the risk she can't ignore. And with each passing day, the tension increases. She needs to decide, not due to external pressure, but because the uncertainty is becoming unbearable. What are you going to do now? Will you wait while she carries this weight alone, or will you make space for her to see clearly what you feel? Because deep down you are involved too. You feel something too, there's no pretending otherwise. You are as caught up in this as she is, and if you decide to act, know that it will be a point of no return. You will have to deal with the consequences, whether they are good or bad. But maybe that's what she needs, clarity. Maybe in the midst of all this confusion, what she desires most is for you to say something, to do something, to make it clear she is not alone in this fight. Because the truth is, even if she chooses you, that won't be the end of the dilemma. It will just be the beginning of something new, something as uncertain as you are, but still it's something. And sometimes something is all we need. So now the decision is also in your hands. You can keep waiting, letting her get lost in this maze of thoughts, or you can be the voice that guides, the gesture that gives direction, the reason why she finally finds the courage to act. What are you going to do? Because one way or another you have already changed everything. And if she chose you, have you imagined what that would mean? Because deep down that is the question you should be asking yourself now. It's not just about the weight of her choice, but what you will do with it. Can you carry what she is about to place in your hands? Because this choice will not come without expectations, without sacrifices, without changes. She is not the type of person who makes impulsive decisions. Everything about her shows the seriousness of what she feels, what she thinks, what she analyzes when she is alone, facing the emptiness of a silent early morning. You know this because you also think of her. Even if you don't admit it, even if you don't say it out loud, she occupies a space in your mind that you can't deny. And what if she didn't choose you? Have you thought about the emptiness that would leave? Because it's easy to believe that you could simply move on, as if nothing had happened. But deep down, you know that's not how it is. You know that if she follows the other path, you will be left with something caught in your chest like a page that was never turned. The question is, what do you really want? Because maybe she is waiting for this, waiting for you to say something that would take her out of this suffocating uncertainty. She is already carrying the weight of the world on her shoulders, and your lack of clarity only increases that. It's not fair to her, it's not fair to you. Be direct, be clear. She doesn't need more doubts, more mixed signals. She needs something that gives her courage to choose, whether it's the security of knowing that you will be there, or the reality of understanding that maybe you won't be. But the silence, the inertia, only prolongs the suffering. And when she finally decides, will you be ready to deal with the consequences? Because that decision will be final. She won't look back. She won't demand anything from you, because that's not who she is. But even so, you will feel the absence, because what is at stake here is not just her. It's you. It's what you could have been. It's what might never happen again. She is not like any other person who has passed through your life. She is different, and you know that. It's not what she says or does, but what she is. There is something about her that moves you in a way that no one else has managed, something that holds you, that pulls you, that makes you want more, even when you try to step away. So, what will you do now? Because time is not waiting. Every day that passes, every moment you do not act, the distance grows. She is seeking answers, and if she doesn't find them in you, she will seek them elsewhere, and you can't blame her for that. The silence between you says more than any word. It is like a space full of possibilities, and at the same time, of fears. Do you feel it? That tension, that energy that seems always on the verge of exploding? Because she feels it, and it consumes her. She wants you. That's obvious. But wanting is not enough. She needs to know that you also want her, that you are willing to be more than a possibility, more than a what if. She needs something concrete, something that makes her feel that choosing you is not a leap in the dark, but a step towards something worthwhile. And if you're not ready for that, then maybe it's time to be honest. Because leaving her trapped in this doubt is cruel. She deserves more than that, you know it. And if you truly care about her, you need to act. Not tomorrow, not later. Now. What do you really want? What do you really feel? Because this answer is not just for her, it's for you too. Are you willing to take the risk? Are you willing to step out of your comfort zone? Because that's what it's about. Choosing her means choosing something bigger, something that can change your life in ways you can't even imagine yet. But if you decide to do nothing, know that this will be a choice too. And choices have consequences. If she leaves, you will have to deal with it. You will have to face the reality that you lost someone who might have been unique, someone who could have been everything. And that, more than anything else, is what you need to consider now. She is waiting, but she will not wait forever. What will you do? You know that time is against you. Every day that passes adds more weight to this already unbalanced scale. And deep down you understand that if you do nothing now, time will make the decision for you. She is not the type to wait indefinitely. No one is, and this inertia, this lack of clarity, eats away at everything. First her, then you. Look at yourself and ask, what are you really waiting for? Confirmation from her, a clearer sign that she wants you as much as you seem to want her. Because if that's it, you might never see it. Not because she doesn't feel it, but because she's waiting for the same thing from you. Two sides trapped in the same game, each waiting for the other to make the first move. This won't work. Someone needs to give in, be honest. You feel something for her that you cannot ignore. You notice the way she affects you, the way she makes you think about things you usually avoid. She forces you to confront parts of yourself that you might not even have known existed. It scares you, of course it does. But fear cannot be the reason you stand still. And what if you say something, if you open up? Worst case scenario, she doesn't feel the same way. So what? At least you will know. At least you will have the chance to move on without this constant weight on your chest. But honestly, do you really believe she doesn't feel it? You've seen the signs. They are there, clear as day, even if she tries to hide them. Now imagine the best-case scenario. Imagine her saying that she feels the same, that she is also fighting this internal confusion because she can't stop thinking about you. What would that do to you? How would that change things? Because if you believe that this is possible, and deep down you know it is, then what are you waiting for? Maybe you're afraid of messing everything up. Maybe you're afraid that if you try and fail, you'll lose what you have now. But is that really enough? Is living in this ambiguity, this constant tension, the best you can hope for? Because honestly, it doesn't seem like it is. She's already at a critical point. You can see that. The unspoken words, the looks that last a bit longer than they should, the uncomfortable pauses in conversations. Everything about her screams that she's waiting for something, anything to help her decide. And if that something comes from you, it will be like opening a door she's afraid to walk through alone. But here's the most important point. If you really care about her, you need to show it. Not just with vague words or subtle gestures, she needs to feel it. She needs to know that, even if choosing you is a risk, it's a risk worth taking. Because you'll be there, firm, ready to face whatever comes along with her. And if you're not ready for that, then you need to be honest. Don't keep her trapped in something that has no future. Don't hold someone back who's trying to find their way, just because you're afraid to let her go. That's not fair. Not to her and certainly not to you. You're on the edge now. There's no more room to wait, to let time decide for you. She's preparing to make a choice, and if you don't act, that choice might not include you. Are you prepared for that? Because when she decides, there will be no going back. She will move on with or without you, so what's it going to be? Are you going to continue waiting, watching this opportunity slip through your fingers? Or are you finally going to act, show her that you are more than a possibility, more than a what if? The choice is yours, and time is running out. Are you ready to decide? She is at the limit and time is running out. There's no escaping. Either you act, or you lose this chance forever. So, Choose. Show her that it's worth it. And now tell us in the comments, have you ever experienced something like this? Subscribe to the channel, leave your like and share your opinion. Your choice can inspire other stories.